Hey guys, another day. Back working on the T190 skid steer. Again, replacing the turbo. Gonna pull this exhaust manifold off as well now. You guys can see that crack there in the exhaust manifold. So this does have the Kubota 2.0 in it. Again, I think this is like an 03, 02, 03, something like that. I know the engine up here I think said 03, but yeah, somewhere in there. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get this yanked off. I think basically there's two bolts. You guys can see there'd be one here on the top side, one on the back. Same thing here as you work your way down there on the inside and the back as well. I'm gonna try to get this part of the intake or the exhaust side of the turbo off. There is one bolt back here, right there. You guys can see that, it's 14. Was having a difficult time last time getting that off. I do have a swivel today, so should be able to break that loose. Get that out of the way. See if I can get these bolts pulled off real quick. And yeah, then I'll get this stud replaced. Get this welded up, that's what I'm gonna try first. I'm pretty sure I can. And try to make sure everything looks good on that, and then we'll bolt everything back together. Hopefully not mess up the gaskets, because I really don't wanna wait for parts, but we'll see. So anyway, we'll cut back here in just a minute. I'm not gonna set this part up, just pulling this off. Just gonna get it yanked real quick, and then I'll probably cut in when I get it cleaned up and start welding. All right guys, you guys can see manifold's out. I actually had a couple of these studs pull out on me. The two on number 1 cylinder, there on the number 2 cylinder, that lower one in the back, but it's out, it's here on the ground. It is definitely cracked, so good thing I pulled it out. You guys can see that there. So definitely got a pretty nasty crack all the way around there. So we're gonna see if we can weld that up, clean it, weld it, and replace these studs. Again, I'm gonna see how many I can get, because again, these are the exact same. For some reason, I think somebody might have replaced one already. I think it's, I'm trying to think which way this is in here. So it'd be this stud here. Was a different size, so different size nut on it. Not 100% sure what's up with that, but it came out. Stud's still in there, so we're gonna go ahead and leave it. You guys can see. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's the same threads or not. I'm trying to remember which one it was. One of these two here on the front. It was this one that they had put on there. Again, it was standard. There's a 1/2 inch that fit it, so a little bit weird. But again, it may be just a, they may have not had one, had a 1/2 inch nut, and they tapped it to fit. I don't know, because the threads actually look the same. So, but anyway, that's where I'm at right now. I guess the next, when I cut back here, I will have this out and hopefully be welding it up and kind of showing you that process, and then fingers crossed we're putting this thing back together. But anyway, I'll catch up with you guys here in a little bit. All right guys, so I got the manifold on. Took a little longer than I wanted. This left side, whenever I welded that, must have pulled that in a little bit, so had to get this spread back out, get everything back on. Honestly, it was a pain in the ass, but did manage to get it. So manifold is on, everything is tight back there. Again, pain in the butt, but it's on. So now I'm gonna work on getting this turbo put back together and try to get it put on. And then we'll look at maybe the injectors today. Most likely not, it's already starting to get late. So I'll try to see if I can get at least the turbo bolted up. That way things are sealed back up and back going. The good news is the one stud, it's not leaking, so hopefully it'll stay that way back there where the exhaust stud got into the manifold. So anyway, kind of made a mess, but we'll get this turbo, see if I can get it put together and put on. All right guys, so the turbo that he bought, you guys can see I put the old one kind of back together. I don't have the clamp on it here, but oil on top, oil bottom here. So originally This one was clocked the other way. You can see where your wastegate was up here, the vacuum line for it. So I loosened this all up, made it where I could turn it here and kind of spin this turbo. And now, when I got it spun around where it needs to be and have your outlet in the right place and everything, my oil lines are not clocked in the right place. So I think I'm gonna have to pull this clamp, this little hog ring in here, which I think will loosen this up, I believe is how that works. Pull it together, spin this piece around to where it needs to be, just get everything clocked where it needs to be, to kind of put this thing on. Again, I guess that's part of buying a cheap turbo. A little frustrating, but yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. Again, there's probably gonna be a bunch of cutting crap out because I know there was a lot of this where I was working on this, trying to figure it all out. But again, this is a cheaper turbo. It's probably some of the reasons. Some of the casting marks are exactly the same, so that's what's kind of odd. Some of the numbers and the spots that are on these are exactly the same, like in here. You guys can see all that. This one here has the exact same markings. So, and then again, you guys can see that number plate is gone, so you really can't get those numbers, but some of this stuff that's on the actual turbo, very similar. So I don't know, a little frustrating, but see what I can do with this. Probably gonna cut it here just because it's where I'm at for today. So I'm gonna clean up and maybe start this tomorrow or something. But probably do this as a video too, just getting the manifold fixed, put on, and yeah, it's pretty much everything's ready to throw the turbo back on if I can get the turbo lined up. Again, shouldn't be that hard to get the turbo on there. Studs are all clean now. It's literally 4 bolts to get it on. Your oil lines, they weren't too bad to get to. Now that this bolt's out back here, it'll make things a lot easier. And then pretty much at that point, these bolts here on the manifold exhaust side of things, or your muffler side of it, these were super easy to get in and out. And then basically exhaust goes back on, which I won't do anyway until I put the injectors in. So, okay guys, so I wanted to go ahead and show you what all I've done here on this turbo. I didn't record any of this, mostly just I didn't really have the time, but you guys can see this little lock ring in here. So you can take your lock ring pliers, basically get on that, squeeze it in. That allows you to be able to turn this turbo and this center oil gallery part, adjust those to where you want it. So I was able to get this put basically where I think it needs to be. And then I've also got this one now set up. I need to still snug up this coupler here. I need to make sure it's not going to be in the way of the oil lines and whatnot. But I need to tighten that one up. And then over here, that's what I tapped into and put a small screw in. You guys can see how far I had to get that over. It's kind of a pain in the butt. On the original one, this was actually offset the other way. So I don't need this bolt in here. Not real impressed with this turbo, to be 100% honest. The other thing I did notice on, you guys can see that one there. Well, on this one, they actually tap that all the way through and into the internals here. You're not gonna be able to see up in there, but anyway, they tapped it all the way in to the turbo housing, which is kind of odd, but shouldn't make a difference. As long as it's bolts in, it's tightened down. I don't think it'll cause any issues. But I am gonna go ahead and leave this in. I'm not sure, doesn't look like they got into any of the housing, but I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this one down in there and leave it in anyway, just in case. It ain't gonna hurt anything. So we'll snug this up, and then we're gonna line this up, make sure everything's lining up right and that everything's gonna work here. I don't think I need to adjust any of this. It looks pretty close. Wastegate's down. So yeah, we'll see how this all lines up real quick and see if I can get it thrown back on the skid steer. All right guys, so you can see I'm off still just a tiny bit here. You guys can see where that needs to be. So I'm actually gonna mark it here on the turbo Now that I've got it set in there, you guys can see it's where it pretty much needs to be there. Everything's kind of in place, down where it needs to be. So I'm actually going to mark about in there, roughly. So basically what I'm going to do is loosen this back up, and I will rotate that oil gallery right there to where it's in line with that mark, if that makes sense. So I'm going to yank this back off, and I'll kind of show you what I'm doing here on camera. All right, guys. So basically, what I'm getting at here, here's this turbo. What I'm trying to do is clock this, which you guys can see I'm off. Try to set these. I'm not sure if they're catching up or showing up in the camera, but you guys can kind of see when this turbo is laid out here flat. This one's cocked back a little bit still, so I need to rotate this forward to where it is kind of the same setting, I guess, as this one. So right now this one's leaning a little bit back this way. It's almost flat here, where this one I'm cocked back just a tiny bit. So what I was getting at, in order to do or get this where I need it to be, you gotta loosen this clamp up here. So loosen that up where that free spins there. Which what's funny is it kind of pulled that back. Not sure. Guess there is a little bit of play in that, isn't there? I think I'm going to go ahead. It's off just a tiny bit, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this out one more time. So basically you're going to squeeze this in and then just pull that clamp out right there. So now that's going to allow this piece to rotate. So I'm going to line it up probably about right there. I'm going to probably set it about right there. I'm going to go ahead and put this clamp back in, and then I will kind of play with this other clamp to get everything lined up. I may even put it in and then tighten it up if I can get to it. So again, I'm going to show you guys, sorry. So like I said, I marked that. That's where that red line is. You guys can see that. It's kind of where it needed to be. We'll squeeze this back together. Make sure it's pushed in where it needs to be. There we go. And then we'll just make sure that's all in there. Everything looks good there. So now I'm gonna go kind of set this back in the. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and snug this up a little bit right here. So you guys can see how that pulls that over when I snug that up. So I actually may need to back this off a tiny bit. It's going to be like a 10. Flat blade. Yeah, I think I need to loosen this up. I think this is putting this in a tiny bit of a bind. So bear with me here for just a second, guys. Ooh, I thought it was gonna be a small one here. Too small, let me see. This is going to be a little bit too small. All right, let's try this one more time. So I'm gonna shoot this thing across the shop here. Typically how this works. Okay, that's a little C-clip I was talking about, guys. But pull this off. Oh yeah, you guys can see how far off. Now, how does that look? Oh yeah, it's a lot straighter. Okay. Put that. Actually, that's still got tension on it. That's the biggest thing, is you want to make sure you still got some tension on here. You don't want this loose. So you got to make sure this is actually pulled back and this is sealing. So actually, I'm going to go one more turn and just, there we go. That's a little better. Okay. That's all back together. All right, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and set this up there. Got a little bit of play in that. Try to line this up over here real quick, and we'll tighten it out. Right there. Okay. I'm happy with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and set the camera up back over here. Again, I feel like that's really, really close where everything's at. So happy with that. So like I said, I'm gonna set the camera back up over here and keep recording. Now we're gonna try to get this back in here. Again, I've got the gas failure down. Just gonna be studs to line up. Yes, yeah, all lines look good. We're gonna be in the right place this time. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this all goes together. So far, this has been nothing but pain in the butt. I went ahead and left the other part of the exhaust manifold, the exit side of it. I actually left that off for a reason. Just so I can get into these bottom bolts a little easier. Just to be honest, a couple of these are not the easiest things to get into. So, hoping this will go a little easier. And sorry, I'll have to kind of cut through this video just because I know like I'm leaning in front of it, part of it. So right now, guys, I'm going to go ahead and put this top oiler bolt in. There is a gasket that goes in this as well as one on the bottom. The bottom one, I'm honestly going to go, I got to find the I've got to go find the bolt for it. The top one is going right in like it should. I think this one is a 14, if I remember right. Yep. There we go. Snugged up. Like I said, I've got to find the other bolt that goes in the bottom down here, as well as get this gasket in. One of the bolts I actually dropped, and it's down underneath the engine here, so I'm gonna do some searching for it here and see if I can find it. I'll cut back here in just a minute. All right, guys, so I wasn't able to find that screw, so I've got it in my pocket here. I'm gonna run up to the hardware store, see if I can get another. It's I think it's an 8mm. I'm not sure what the pitch is on it, but I'm gonna see what I can find. I may even have one at the house. I'm gonna go through searching through my old stuff, but basically it's just a standard 8mm bolt. So I'm gonna go see what I got, see if I got something that'll work. I did go ahead and tighten down this turbo, so manifold bolts are all tight. A lot easier to get this tightened down without this exhaust exit side of the manifold in there. Should be able to get that bolt on the backside pretty easy now. See down there, now it's loosened up. And then it's just 4 bolts and a gasket on here. Then it'll come out to there. Then I will probably at that point, to be honest, I'm probably gonna go ahead and do these injectors up here, get these all yanked out, do the injector side, which I'll do in another video. And then I'll honestly probably cut back once I get the injector stuff done before I put the intake box back in and bolt the exhaust all back in, and we'll see how this thing runs. We'll see. Hopefully everything's gonna work. But anyway, we'll catch y'all here shortly once I get this bolt. All right, guys, so I got another bolt here to go pick up. So we're gonna see if I can get these started and get this gasket slipped in there, and yeah, see how this all kind of goes together here. Kind of a pain in the butt where it's at, but hoping I can kind of slide.
This one in first. We haven't seen the bearings now. Let me see if I can get in here.
All right, so turbo is in. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I got that tight because I don't remember. Digging through all my tools to find the right stuff again, but this here worked. Ain't what I was looking for, but it worked. Okay, so turbo is in. Everything's mounted here. I think we're in good shape there. Worst case scenario, if I need to, I can adjust that later. But all right, guys, so what I'm gonna work on now, again, I don't know how this video is turning out. I'm probably standing in front of the damn thing for the most of it, but I really can't set the camera up in there to show you what I'm working on. It's just, I mean, all this is solid, so there's nothing you can remove to make this any easier to view. But right now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and throw this manifold on right here. I got it set over here, the gasket, and Is start the back one here. If I can get it lined up, it'll maybe help me out. Yeah, so basically what I did is got the back one started, and it's gonna help hold this gasket in place. Then I can walk this front one back up, pinch it together here, hold it in place right there. So now I got my front one started. So my other two should be pretty easy as far as getting my gasket, or keeping my gasket in place and not having it fall out or not be where it needs to be. So one thing, if you guys are doing this, you may want to order all new exhaust gaskets, top, bottom, everything. That's something I did not get with this, which hopefully doesn't come back to haunt us, but we'll see. Honestly thought when you ordered the turbo, you'd get this gasket. You do not. You only get the manifold gasket down below, which is kind of weird because you would think, or I would think it would come with that one as well, but it did not. So these are also 10s. Most of these you can reach fairly easy with an impact. All right guys, so I kind of stopped recording. I actually went ahead and put all the injectors in. I gotta bleed these lines real quick and see if I can get this thing fired up before I finish putting everything else together. But you guys can see air filters back in. I got one bolt in the bottom still. I need to tighten it up. Trying to think what else. And then, like I said, the exhaust back on. But one thing I had to do, so if you guys buy these cheap injectors, the bottom portion of that injector does not fit. So, I don't know, I can't really read that number, HP 3000. Can't really read that one either. So, really not sure of the part number, and I'm not even going to put any of these parts because this whole deal was a mess. So again, I guess it's what you get for buying cheaper parts. So I would recommend, if you're doing this yourself, buy the right parts. Go to get them from skid steer or Bobcat, or the actual manufacturer. If you're doing a Bobcat, a Case, John Deere, whatever, get it from them or get a decent product, because turbo had issues again. Nothing matched up. Had to turn it to get everything right. Injectors, so here's all my old injector parts over here. You guys see how black nasty they are, but I used all the internals and all the top portion off of the new injectors, but I had to swap out these lower housings because, again, these do not thread in, not even close. Threads look right, but it's like, yeah, not 100% sure. They're not cut correctly down here at the bottom. You guys can see they're not tapered at all. So I don't really know, but did not work. It was a pain in the butt. Again, more frustrating than anything. So that's why a lot of that I didn't even record. I probably should have, but I just wanted to get the thing done and put together. So again, right now, I'm getting ready to bleed the lines, and hopefully the thing fires up and I can throw the exhaust on and be done with this. So yeah, we'll probably cut back here in just a second and let you guys know how it all goes. All right guys, so I'm gonna end this video here. For right now, there will be another part to this later, but yeah, I cannot get the skid steer to run. I'm starting to think these injectors are just completely wrong. So like I said, I gutted these out, put all the new parts in the old injector housing, put it all in here, and this thing just blows black smoke like a freight train. So, and again, it won't idle. It'll try and try, but it won't fire up. So, and it kind of seems unresponsive to the throttle. It just puffs smoke regardless. So, thinking these injectors are they're way too big. What I believe, something's going on there. So, again, it ran fine with the other injectors. It was just blowing black smoke when you put it under a load. So, I think I'm going to make him get the right injectors. or possibly I may try rebuilding, cleaning the ones that we got on the bench over here. So cleaning all this up and putting it back together and at least seeing what happens, putting the old ones back in it, and just kind of, yeah, I don't know, not real sure what to do at this point. So again, here's all the originals. So, like I said, I think I'm going to try maybe piecing these back together and seeing what happens, because I really honestly don't know what else to do at this point besides wait for him to order new ones. So, and yeah, so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Looks like I got all the pieces still here. So there might be a spring. Missing possibly here. So I'll have to find out where it went, but I think that's it. One, two. Yeah, I'm not real sure where that other spring's at. Got out everything here on the table. Yeah, I may be doing some searching because I am not seeing it. I don't think it got carried over here, but maybe. I know when I first started pulling stuff apart. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So yeah, like I said, I think maybe what I'm gonna do is just try to possibly rebuild what I got here. Clean these the best I can and put these back in it. So, like I said, we'll see. But that's kind of where I'm at. Again, I'm not 100% sure what's going on, but it's blowing black smoke, so I'm going to end the video here. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Thank you everyone that subscribed. It's pretty cool to hit 2,000 subscribers, so excited about that. Yeah, we'll see how this all pans out. Thanks again.